Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bardtender, a show where I'm going to teach you how to make Dungeons & Dragons themed cocktails that are featured on our D&D show Growing Campaigns. If you'd like to catch Growing Campaigns, you can Sundays, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. As always, if you're not available on Sundays, you can go to dutchmastergaming.com to find alternative ways you can view our content. So, like normal, I'm going to break this episode down into two parts. First, I'm going to teach you how to make our themed cocktail, the Dutch Master Daiquiri, and then I'm going to talk about the themed monsters for the cocktail. I would like to mention that we actually have a variant to this drink called the Dutch Master Margarita. You can find a supplementary post about it on Dutch Master Gaming's Instagram. That being said, I'll get into making our drink. The Dutch Master Daiquiri is not a complex drink, but it is a unique one. First, you'll need Genever, which is a liquor made of lightly distilled Dutch grains and has a rich malty taste. The liquor was once called Dutch Courage, which is actually how we got the name for our cocktail. Now I have 1.5 ounces of Genever portioned into my measuring cup, and I've added 1/4 cord spicy red pepper, which now I will muddle for quite some time until the liquor starts to begin to take that reddish hue from the pepper itself. Now for pepper choice, I've used a few different peppers. For example, Fresno pepper, or currently I'm using a chili pepper. So this part of the cocktail can change depending on preference. If you happen to get one of the pepper seeds in your cocktail, I wouldn't worry too much because we are going to strain our cocktail at the end. You wouldn't really want to be surprised by one of those seeds in your cocktail though. So now that I've finished muddling, I'm going to pour all the contents, pepper included, into our mixer. With this, now I'm going to finish the cocktail by adding the final ingredients. I have 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, 3/4 ounce of lime juice. And with this, our cocktail is complete. Now we're just going to shake the contents and we're going to strain it into a rocks glass on ice. Now with our cocktail complete, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy it while I tell you a little bit about the themed monsters for this cocktail. As some of you may know, our brand is Dutch Master Gaming, and our logo is a green dragon enjoying one of our cocktails. Well, because this cocktail is named the Dutch Master Daiquiri, I thought it'd be fun to talk a little bit about green dragons. Then I thought to myself, well, the cocktail is red, and it has a green variant, so instead, why don't we talk about some of the differences between red and green dragons? Now, both of these creatures are so complex, and they have so much lore behind them that I could spend several segments talking about either. So we're just going to focus on some of the major differences between the two. But before we get into this, here's a little background on chromatic dragons. Now, red and green dragons are both chromatic dragons, which means they are similar in some rights. For example, they're both driven by greed. They both have dangerous lairs, and they both find other creatures inferior to them. Where they start to drift apart is what they consider treasure. A red dragon is obsessed with wealth and knows where every piece of treasure in its lair is down to the very last copper piece. What it values above all is the treasure it's gained while destroying a powerful adversary. A green dragon, though, will hoard treasures. What it values above anything else is living treasures. What I mean by this is they want subservient followers who help further their gain passively while they spend time with their treasure in their lair. The green dragon is the more cunning of the two, which means it'll talk its way into power as opposed to destroying its way into power. Because of these favored tactics, the green dragon likes to corrupt good-hearted creatures into furthering its gain, while the red dragon lords over their lands with pure intimidation. Now, this doesn't mean a red dragon can't be cunning or a green dragon can't be intimidating, but they both have their preferred styles, which means they're better at it than the other. There is so much more I'd like to say about these complex creatures, talk more about their common personality traits, their layers, etc. But again, to keep this brief, I'm going to wrap up the conversation with a few of their stat differences. What first grabbed my attention was the green dragon's superior intelligence compared to the red dragon's superior charisma. Another thing that grabbed my attention was the number of skill proficiencies. Where the green dragon has 5 skill proficiencies, the red dragon only has 2. And this wraps up the major differences I'm going to discuss, but there is something I've changed about dragons that is a fun and subtle improvement. So wormlings can only speak Draconic, while at every other stage dragons speak Draconic and Common. What I've done is I had the dragon add an additional language at every single one of its stages because this further shows their desire for wealth and knowledge. And with that, I've run out of time for this video, but I feel like I've barely scratched the surface on these two complex creatures. So if you'd like to hear any of my thoughts on chromatic dragons, please let me know in the comments below. And with that, we wrap up another episode of Bardtender. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and learning a new cocktail with me. And if you'd like to see any of my specific takes on a specific creature or a cocktail, please let me know in the comments below as well. And with that, until next time, cheers.